Hello and welcome to our Alumni Spotlight podcast. My name's Autumn and I work to tell the stories of our amazing students and alumni here at Penn Foster. Today I'm talking with Brianna Jones, who recently graduated from our Pharmacy Technician Career Diploma program and who is one of our Graduate of the Year finalists. Welcome, Brianna.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you
good
so
to be
much
here.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for taking the time to talk with me today. I want to ask Brianna, how does it feel to be a finalist, one of five?
Honestly, I was pretty taken back. I remember seeing the email about applying, and I thought, well, I feel like I could have been the longest student in the program, so I should give it a go. And now we're here.
Yeah, absolutely. And Brianna, I know a little bit about your backstory, but for our listeners, we're going to start from the beginning. What were you up to before enrolling in Penn Foster, and what made you decide to enroll?
I had my first child when I was 17, so I was young. I did a little bit of college, like here and there. I didn't really have a whole lot of time, so I did full-time work. I worked in kitchens. I cooked for ever up until I finally started Penn Foster. I actually got pregnant with my youngest child, who is 3 now, and I started Penn Foster in March of 2017. Once I was no longer able to work, so I figured, maybe I should, get a career change and get out of a kitchen and do something that will actually lead to a career. So that's when I started Penn Foster, and here we are years later, and I'm finally finished the whole program.
And that's absolutely amazing. I want to ask, what made you decide to choose Pharm Tech?
I'd always been interested in the medical field. I never really, I looked into some surgical technician programs and radiology technician programs, but I guess I just never quite did it. And then, once I was at home, I thought, I think that would be exactly what I wanted, because past that, I would like to obviously keep continuing my education and go into compounding. That's the ultimate goal.
That's a great goal. I want to ask too, you're at home studying, you have, I believe, a daughter, and you had your son, so he was young. How was it, studying online at your own pace while being a mom and having, now a younger child too?
I mean, I don't think I could have done it without Penn Foster in any form or fashion. I have not found another school with the flexibility of going at your own pace. Like, a lot of places will say, oh, you can go at your own pace, but ultimately there is a timeline to it. But with Penn Foster, I was not only able to take one extension, but I was able to take the maximum amount of extensions and finish my I got all the way to the end of my program, and the last part in order for me to graduate was my externship. Well, there was COVID, so nobody was doing externships. It was impossible to find somewhere. And, I'm on that last extension, hoping that I can somehow manage to get it done. And after working with the student team, once I worked with them, they actually were flexible enough to allow me to, they told me if I was able to get a job through one of the places that they used to do the externships with, that I could actually use my job hours to use as my externship hours, which would help me complete my program and also have a job all at the same time. So that was really, I can't imagine having any other school like that. It's just mind-boggling. Like, I'm so happy that I was able to complete the program and how flexible Penn Foster has been through the entire process.
And did you secure your externship with CVS too and then got hired after, or?
I did. I went to them and they told me that they were not accepting externships because of COVID.
Yeah.
None of their stores, and Walgreens at that point, those were the two places, and neither one of them would do externships. So after talking to, I think her name was Jessie Davenport, after I talked to her, she had told me that, if I could somehow manage to land a job at one of those places, I could use my hours from said job to
Mhm.
finish out my externship. So luckily I was able to, it was crazy. I ended up getting several phone calls from all these different CVSs all at one time. And I was offered part-time work to start off with, and worked my way through the part-time work and got all these extra certifications and stuff through CVS that now I'm working full-time, and I've got all these new certifications. And I know there's just so many places to go from here. There's just so much that you can do with everything that we've started with.
And you did obtain a job, so that's amazing and really exciting. Can you tell me a little bit about what you're up to now?
Yes. Well, I got my job at CVS. I guess, once I graduated and everything, I have applied for the actual national certification, which Penn Foster also sponsors for, of course, your first test, which, if you went through that gigantic program, then I'd say you've got it under control. Well, Penn Foster has definitely prepared me for my job for all of the ins and outs of everything. There's stuff that I still have knowledge of that we haven't even touched base, because I am in a retail pharmacy, and you get to learn about all the settings, hospital settings, long-term care settings, just pretty much all of the different places you can go. But since being with CVS, they have actually paid me they paid for my CPR certification. And I recently was nationally certified to give vaccinations. So
That's
I have been
amazing.
able to give out COVID vaccinations to, everyone, and now kids 12 and up. So, I just feel like that's a big deal. And that's something that, even growing later on and even moving up the ladder, you can always have those things are extremely useful. And the fact that they offered all that stuff, is a big deal.
Yeah, that's amazing. And it's incredible that you secured a job at really such a reputable company. That's amazing. Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, absolutely. And did you develop any, study habits that you think may help other students? And what are some tips you can give them?
Just really anytime you have the extra time, because life is always full. There's always stuff happening day, night, sometimes in the middle of the night, depending on what work schedules you have or your significant others have. It's really just, take the time, just do it a little bit at a time. Or if you can get a lot done at a time, get a lot done. Just as long as I always tried to set myself to do at least 3 lessons a week. And that was
Mhm.
my minimum, just to, work it on through.
Yeah, yeah. Just logging on is such a big achievement. That's what we always say. Just log on, even if it's
Yeah,
one little thing. Yeah.
for sure.
And did you ever find yourself lacking motivation as you were going along? Life happens. I'm sure it happens to everyone. Can you tell me a little bit about how you maybe got yourself motivated again, and what tips may help other students who may be listening?
I I did fall out on some motivation there towards the very end once COVID hit, and I was at the end of my program, and I wasn't having any luck getting any kind of externship, and it was almost impossible to get a job in a pharmacy and not be
Mhm.
licensed. And you can't be licensed without, you know, going all the way through your school requirements. So, that was definitely an obstacle, but really after just talking to like the staff at Penn Foster and just the way they were able to like really work with everything, it made an incredible difference on the outcome of the whole situation.
Yeah,
I would
absolutely. And
just
I'm glad you
say
had.
just keep on going. If you have questions, all you got to do is ask. There are so many people that are just, one person might not have the answer, but someone does.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm glad you utilized that, Penn Foster staff to help you through, and we're always here, to answer any questions that you may
Oh
have.
yeah.
So how do you feel like Penn Foster maybe helped you take the next step?
Well, they definitely were able to point me in the direction of the places that I needed to go for the externship in order to complete the actual class itself, which ultimately led me to have a job. So basically, having to do that externship, which normally is an unpaid type thing, potentially can lead you to having a secure spot in said pharmacy. I mean, without Penn Foster, I probably would not have been able to just get into a pharmacy. It's definitely not a super easy walk right off the streets and get a job in the pharmacy type job.
So what would you say has been your favorite part of being a Penn Foster student?
Well, my favorite part of being a Penn Foster student is just really all the support and help that Penn Foster is willing to give anytime, 24 hours a day. If you're up at 3 a.m. and you're studying and, there's something that you come across that you need assistance with, there is someone there. There's someone to answer your questions and help you and point you in the right direction. And I think that is like really crucial to helping people who can't go, and do the normal Monday through Friday school, or, people that have to work at their own pace really need that flexible support that Penn Foster offers.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And what does it mean to your kids that to see you graduate and, work towards this goal?
Honestly, it's amazing because my daughter she's 13, about to be 14, but I am the first one who, I guess, in my family that has went to college and finished anything. So I would say that they're super proud, and my daughter is right on the path, and she is ready to go to school. She loves school, and hopefully she'll go up and just kill it with scholarships and have a great school life.
Absolutely. You're an inspiration for her, I'm sure.
I'm going to hope so.
And Brianna, I want to ask, what does it mean to you to be a Penn Foster graduate?
It definitely means the world to me. I'm so glad that, for one, I was able to secure this. And not only that, but I was actually able to finish. And I feel like that in itself is just like the biggest goal.
Yeah, it's definitely something to be proud of. It's a huge accomplishment. Just,
Yes,
just finishing.
It doesn't matter how many years it takes. Like,
it doesn't.
It doesn't.
Not at all. And I wanted to ask too, what would you say to someone who's maybe on the fence about, enrolling or signing up for Penn Foster?
I would say definitely go for it. I mean, you can read reviews all over online and social media platforms from people who are just everyday people, all, from all age ranges, anywhere from getting just high school diplomas to trying to get, business degrees. I mean, it's definitely worth it. And they work with you. It's really like they work for you. Like, it's completely the whole go at your own pace and all of that. It's definitely the best bet. I would say go for it.
Absolutely. That's definitely some good words of motivation there. Brianna, I want to wrap up our interview by asking you one final question. What are 3 words you would use to describe your Penn Foster experience?
I would say the 3 words that I would use to describe my Penn Foster experience would be productive, professional, and supportive.
Those are 3 great words. Brianna, thank you so much for talking with me today, and best of luck as you continue on to potentially becoming our next graduate of the year.
Awesome. Thank you so much.